Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Stella is still upstairs in bed. She wanted no parts of getting up this morning. She's curled up in a little ball. Maybe she'll make an appearance midway through the reading when she hears me talking. But she wants to be a lazy dog this morning. I think today we're going to start with the Sacred Rebels and see what the Sacred Rebels have for us. Now that we are officially in fall. Officially fall. This interesting year is going really fast. Some parts of it. Some parts are going so slow. So let's see what our Sacred Rebels have for us this morning. What kind of knowledge, wisdom, and guidance would be beneficial for all of us? What do we need to know today? What do we need to know that will help us as we move through this beautiful day? Let's see. What do we need to know from our Sacred Rebel friends? A little bit of knowledge, wisdom, and guidance. Surprise, surprise, conscious connections, conscious connections, conscious connections. You don't have to do this alone. Conscious connections. This comes up so much because I think a lot of us try to do everything by ourselves. But if we have those conscious connections, if we make those connections and realize we don't have to do it alone, it becomes helpful, beneficial to have someone in your side, someone in your corner. So be on the lookout. Who can you team up with? Who can you connect with to create, to do whatever it is you're doing? Maybe you just need a little bit of help. Hey, Sydney. Hey, no worries, no worries. Sorry about your mom. I hope she's okay. So conscious connections, first card of the day. Good morning, Christine. Where should we go next? Where should we go next? I feel like going backwards the way I usually pull the cards today. So we'll go to our star seeds. See what our star seeds have to go along with this conscious connections. Are you trying to do this all by yourself? Or do you have some people in your team that you could work with? Some conscious connections. Maybe, we should all be reaching out and saying, hey, can you help? Can you help me out here? I know it's hard. I've been doing it a lot since my issue with my hot rod, and as I look for a new hot rod, I've been having to reach out and say, hey, will you give me a ride to go look at another car? Make those conscious connections. Build your team. You do not have to do this alone. I promise you don't have to do this alone. All right, star seeds, what do you have for us today? Let's go. This guy. The Sea of Minka. Seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. Bringing unconsciousness to light, which is interesting that our first card is conscious connections. And then we get bringing unconsciousness to light. So maybe there's another wave of people waking up. Maybe that's what this is about. Our conscious connections. Maybe our conscious connections are only waking up. They're becoming aware of the unconscious, right? Bringing the unconscious to the light, seeing the potential. Could you see the potential all around you? Can you see the potential with everything that is going on? Some people, when the lockdown happened, curled up into a ball and didn't do anything. Other people said, hey, I'm going to actually do something. I'm going to create something. I'm going to bring something into existence. Can you see the potential in everything that's going on around you? And maybe that conscious connection can help you see that potential in everything that's happening, right? Be on the lookout. We are playing in the consciousness today. We are uncovering the unconscious, and conscious connections are coming to life. This is interesting. Interesting. Let's see what the angels and ancestors have for us today. Oh, the air guardian. Shift your perspective. Wow, this is all about seeing things, right? Shift your perspective. Shift your perspective with the air guardian. So you're protected. You're taken care of. Can you change your perspective? Can you change your perspective and bring the unconscious to light? Very interesting cards today. What are you looking at that maybe we should change our perspective? What could that be? So interesting. Conscious connections, bringing the unconscious to light, and shift your perspective. So if we shift our perspective, right, maybe that will help us bring the unconscious to light. It'll help us bring the unseen to the seen. And sometimes all we have to do is just change the way we're looking at things. Literally, maybe just turn your head and look at it a little bit differently. I know that from my photography world, right? You know, sometimes I have to get up on my tippy toes. Sometimes I have to lay down on my belly to change my perspective and to change the whole view of what I'm taking a photo of. Same thing with our reality that's happening around us. Maybe we just need to shift our perspective with everything. Shift our perspective with absolutely everything that is happening on this spinning rock of ours. Oh, and our jumper, Lady Nada, Heart Awakening. Awaken to acceptance and divine love. Give and receive in balance. More awakening, more uncovering. Awaken, awaken, awaken. Give and receive in balance. You don't want to be out of balance, right? You don't want to always be giving, and you don't always want to be receiving. When we have our conscious connections, right, we have that balance. We find that balance. So we're not always giving, we're not always receiving. We're finding that balance in the uncovering and the shifting of our perspective. This is very interesting cards today. Very interesting. I can't wait to see what our overall energy is to go along with this. I feel like this is almost like the backwards episode of Seinfeld. I'm pretty much pulled all of the cards in reverse order than I usually pull them. So conscious connections, seeing potential, shift your perspective, bring unconsciousness to light, and awaken to acceptance and divine love. Awaken. Maybe if we shift our perspective, we can feel that divine love, right? Maybe if we shift our perspective, we bring the unconsciousness to light, our heart will awaken. Shift our perspective and we can find those conscious connections that might be right in front of our face. You know, so yesterday I went to look at a Honda Element because that's what I'm manifesting into my life. And it was mislabeled with way too many miles. But because I was there and I was looking at that Element, the owner of the garage that I was at said, you know what, I have another one that actually has 100,000 miles less than this one, and I can probably get it here for you in a couple of days. Now, if I wouldn't have gone to see that Element that I didn't want yesterday, I may not be getting the perfect Element, right? I had to shift my perspective a little bit. I went from being, oh man, like I feel like I totally got kind of duped by driving all the way to the Northeast to check this out, but maybe it was that conscious connection that needed to be made so I actually get the perfect vehicle. Who knows? We got to shift. Keep shifting your perspective. Let's see what our overall energy is for today. What do we have with this? Conscious connections, bringing the unconscious to light, shifting perspective, and allowing our heart to awaken, give and receive love. Let's see what this overall, what our overall energy is. Let's go this one. Attachment. Shit. Attachment. So interesting. What are we holding on to that we shouldn't be holding on to? This has been coming up a lot. I wish I remembered where I heard it, but in the changing of the seasons and moving into fall, being like a tree and allowing our leaves to fall. What are we holding on to that we can let go of as we move into fall? What are we maybe a little too attached to? What can we let go of? What can we release so we can find those conscious connections, so we can uncover the unconscious? And maybe by shifting our perspective, we can say, oh shit, maybe I'm holding on to that too tight. Maybe I need to release my grip a little bit. Attachment of old perceptions. I love that, Cindy. I love it. That is so good. So good. So today, as you flow through your day, just notice. Notice what you may be holding on to. And maybe shift your perspective of what it is you're holding on to. Maybe you can love that attachment a little bit differently, right? Maybe you can allow your heart to awaken to that attachment a little bit differently. And maybe say, I don't need to hold on to this so tightly. I can release it. I'm thankful for the lessons that it taught me, but I'm releasing you now. I'm shifting my perspective. I'm connecting with those conscious connections. So interesting today. Interesting. So, conscious connections. Who can we connect with? Maybe those conscious connections are the attachments, right? Shift perspective. Bring the unconscious to light. Let it rise up to the surface. Let it float up. Your air guardian is here. Shift that perspective. Change the way you're looking at everything. Change the way you're looking at yourself. Maybe give yourself a little more love. Let your heart awaken. And then let go. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to? What am I holding on to that is not serving me? What can I let go of today? And it doesn't have to be something big. Maybe it's just something small. Maybe instead of having 2 cups of coffee, you only have 1 cup of coffee. Only you know. Only you know. That's why it's so important for us to sit down and connect with ourselves so we can listen and hear that little voice inside. Pay attention to that little voice. Shift your perspective. Open up your heart. Let go of what isn't serving you. Interesting cards today. Interesting cards. Thank you all for being here with me today. Saturday morning, 2-hour practice in the Zoom room. A fall manifestation class. Keep sending me the good vibes for my most perfect Honda element that I'm bringing into reality. And I'm going to keep an eye out for those conscious connections. See who I can team up with and keep creating amazing things with. Have a great day, everybody. Let go of the shit that is not serving you. And have the most beautiful day. I'll see you all tomorrow morning.